And whenever you find a point that you feel a little bit of tenderness, hold that point for 30 seconds. All right? 30 seconds is a magical kind of number. You could go beyond that, but once you feel that tension, that tender spot, hold it, because that's where you have an adhesion, and then this self-myofascial release will activate your Golgi tendon to come out like the police, woo, 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 and kind of disrupt all of that conflict that you have in your muscle. Your Golgi tendon is like that police officer that's gonna come out and be like, hey, everybody straighten out, let's get back in order, reset, right? Once you got that kind of going, just roll it out, and then you could do the other side. Sorry. All right, get your knees on it, turn it over. Ooh, nice and sweet spot. Whew. And while you're doing this, you're gonna kind of be doing a side plank in essence. So you're kind of getting a workout on your obliques as well. Good. Next, we're gonna do your gastroc, which is the back part of your calves. Okay. Now I like to do one leg at a time. Now some people put a leg out to the side like this. Depends on what you like. Now as you're doing this, I want you to point your toes back. Yeah? You can point your toes to the right, to the side. It'll hit different areas of the muscle or stretch certain areas of the muscle. Sometimes I like to pull my own foot back with the other foot, right? Now, as you can see, I'm holding up with both hands. Yeah. And roll all the way up to the back part of your knee. All right. And as soon as you find any of those tender spots, you could kind of like, you don't even need to hold it sometimes. You can kind of just like roll back and forth on that one specific spot. Right. Okay. So that's the gastrocs. Do it on the other side. You could put your leg over like that. Okay. Next area that I like to work on, once I've done my lower legs, I like to do my TFL, which is this area from here to here. It's a very important muscle, and a lot of people very rarely hit this muscle when they're doing any of their stretches. So here we go. Now, there's a groove right here between your hip and like your butt area right here. You're gonna feel that it's like a little groove that you're gonna be able to kind of like touch up on. I like to start there because it's like a tough kind of crevice to really get into, and I like to, I don't know, I just feel like it's like an area where I like to kind of start up on, loosen it up. I rarely get to touch this area, and it's definitely affected in my workouts. And you know, it's better to reset those muscles so that whenever you are getting into your workouts or getting out of your workouts, you could be relaxed and allow the muscle to recover to its optimal state. And then you're gonna feel like a little bump in the road, like a speed bump, right where your hip girdle and your lower or your thigh kind of meets up, and then you roll into it. And this area can hurt. There's a lot of pain in here, especially if you're doing a lot of intensive lower leg work, squats, definitely squats, if you're doing any spinning, if you're doing any running. It's a really tender muscle, and you're gonna feel pain. And the pain should be more of an, oh yeah, kind of pain, not like a ouch kind of pain. And some of you might not even be able to decipher between those two, but it shouldn't be like excruciating pain. It should be more of like a good kind of pain, right? And especially like here in this area by the knee, it's a tough area, right? And then you're gonna do the same thing on the other side, okay? The next area that I like to work on is my quads, all right? And in the same way that I just started with the other one, where there's like a little groove right here, there's a little groove like right in this area between where the upper body, the upper part of the body and this lower area kind of intersects. It's like a little crevice. I start there. It's a really tender area. It's really hard to reach, and it's good to get access to it from that point forward. And another thing, some people might do both legs at the same time. I don't like to do both legs at the same time. I like to do one leg at a time. And at the end of the day, you're gonna kind of identify your own personal way of doing it. It's all up to you. So let's go ahead and just check out the way I do it. I like to like start on the right side and just roll out the right side, and then I'll go into the left side and roll out the left side, find any tender spots, and then move on. Moving on to the next leg. I'll do it from the other side. Oh, nice and tender. Oh. I just finished doing a spinning class, so tender spot, found it. And then we go into our hamstrings. You can put your leg on top of the other one. As you can see, I'm a little bit sweaty, but I just finished doing an hour spinning class. And remember to breathe while you're doing these things. Don't hold in your breath. You have to understand that your breath is oxygen that's going to be relayed to your muscles that are requiring you to deliver that oxygen. And you can think of it as like a delivery boy, kind of like running through your body and throwing that paper in his paper route, but he's throwing oxygen to those muscles that are saying, hey, bring me some oxygen. I need it for recovery purposes. And here we are, giving them that recovery oxygen that's so needed. Another area, another muscle that you need to target, especially in your lower leg exercises. It's a very important area that a lot of people don't necessarily usually stretch. Most normal people wouldn't stretch this muscle. It's called your piriformis muscle. Can you guess what a piriformis muscle is? You ever heard that word, piriformis? Probably not. But most of you know it as your ass or your butt. It says right here, your gluteus maximus and your gluteus minimus, which is all right here. Gluteus maximus is the big chunk over here, and the gluteus minimus is over here in this area. So how do you stretch? How do you do self myofascial release? Now, sometimes you can use. You could either use a foam roller. Some people will even use. You might even see like some of those balls that they have in the gyms that are kind of heavy, that they have like 8 kilos or 8 pounds, 10 pounds, whatever you guys work in, wherever you are in the world. But you could use a ball or you could use a foam roller. I like to use a foam roller, but a medicine ball is equally as good, maybe even better, depending on how you go about it, because it's kind of rolling in all directions. This one's only rolling back and forth, whereas a ball can kind of get into some nooks and crannies of your muscle fibers. So let's go ahead and look at what I'm gonna do for this exercise. So I'm gonna sit on top of the foam roller, right? I'm gonna cross this left leg over the right leg, and I'm gonna lay on my right butt cheek, or my right piriformis. And then you're gonna roll back and forth. Right, now you could put both hands down, right? And you're gonna feel it get into that nook between your butt. And you're gonna feel that bone under there. And you're gonna kind of roll back and forth. Especially if you've done a running workout, squats, or any lower extremity explosive kind of exercise, you're gonna feel it, right? Now, sometimes I like to lift up my legs to really get in there, all right? Oh, I'm feeling it. Found a little tender spot, and I'm gonna hold it. Now, like I said, 30 seconds, but for display purposes, I'm just gonna stop it right there. And then I move over to the other side, right? Put this leg over. Good. All right. Peroneal, gastrocnemius, soleus, tensor fasciae latae, your hamstrings, bicep femoris, supine bicep femoris, which we'll see in a little bit, bicep femoris long head, bicep femoris short head. There's also other muscles in here. I'm not even going to talk about that. Next, we're going to do the upper body with the foam roller. Okay? So we're going to start off with the lower back, okay, which is basically this area over here. Okay, so I'm going to grab it, put it under here. And then just kind of, now, some people will go straight up the middle. You can do that. I like to start off with this right side, right? So I'll just kind of go in there and just find those little tender spots. Now, as soon as I find a tender spot, what you could do is you could hold it for 30 seconds, right? You could lift up your butt off the ground and kind of put a little more pressure onto it. Or there's another option that you could do, is you could do like 10 crunches, yeah? So you could just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's up to you what you want to do, all right? Just roll back up to it. And then do the other side. And then you could start moving up higher. Yeah. And you could go into your lats, your latissimus dorsi, or dorsi, however they refer to it. Also an area that not many people get to stretch. And you could kind of like go into it sideways. I currently have a little bit of a problem in my shoulder I'm trying to work on right now. Go to the other side. And then, once you've gotten both sides, I like to go straight down the middle route, kind of target both of them. And what I'll do is I'll put both hands on the side of my head and then squeeze my elbows together to really get into that rhomboid area, which is between your two blades here. This is called your rhomboids and your lower trapezius. And there you have it. Self-myofascial release from head to toe. There's other things that you could do with self-myofascial release. Some people might even use a lacrosse ball or simply something hard, a hard ball for like your pectoralis area, your chest area, your shoulders, this area. There's also something that you could use for hard to reach areas. Like, in my opinion, it's a little bit difficult to really tap into your hamstrings with the foam roller. And there's tools that you can use to really get into that muscle fiber and really like hit it in like areas like over here with your upper traps, like your upper back, this area here in the back where your rhomboids and your rear delts are at. There's a tool that I could show you later on in the future. It's called a Theracane, and it's a really amazing tool. It's very inexpensive, as is the foam roller. The foam roller, you could get one for like 20 bucks on Amazon. You could go to any Sports Authority, Dick's. If you're in Asia, like I used to live in China. I might have some of you here that are listening to me today that are in China. You could go to a Decathlon and also get one of those over there. So thank you for attending this. The lights are out. So yeah, thanks and